A man has a choice. I chose the impossible. I built a city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the great will not be constrained by the small, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality. I chose to build rapture.
BioShock. One of the best games I've ever played. Now, if you've never played the game before, I'm going to give you a very, 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 very quick summary on basically the premise of it. So there's this guy named Andrew Ryan who decided to build a city underwater. A city that was free from the confines of, society. Like, he mentions petty morality. Like, scientists could do experiments without having to worry about, the consequences of certain things, or an artist being able to freely express himself without having to be worried about being censored. What does this have to do with indie developers right now? Well, it's pretty obvious. Indie developers have no constraints. They have no restrictions. They can do whatever they want. And that is what I'm talking about. Innovation that we have missed for so long because of EA having this exclusive NFL license. We haven't been able to see what the artists could do without being censored, or the scientists worrying about petty morality. It's the same concept. I'm going to throw one more thing in the trailer real quick. With that picture with the fish coming in to eat the small fish. Now, this is going to be an interesting idea about that. Well, let's say that the fish, the big fish that swallows the little fish, the big fish is actually these indie developers that have great ideas, great concepts, things that can be put into football games that they couldn't do because there's no way they can do it because they don't have the funding, they don't have the license, they don't have this, they don't have that. And the small fish is basically these huge companies. I know it doesn't make too much sense here, but the way he's talking about it is that big fish is actually the ideas that these indie developers have that they want to express, but they can't because they don't have the money or the backing, the support basically. But the little fish in this trailer, because it's in his vision, it's in Andrew Ryan's world where everything is different, that little fish, which we could say is EA Sports, is going to get swallowed up by these indie developers now, because we're in an alternate universe here. We're thinking outside the box here, guys. I hope I'm not confusing you. But I believe that reality is coming to fruition with these great ideas from these indie developers are finally starting to come out. And today I'm going to show you another batch of screenshots basically motion capture animations from 3 more quarterbacks: Joe Gilliam, Johnny Unitas, and Sammy Baugh. How you guys thought I was done with Marino, huh? No, this is another Dan Marino animation. I believe he says this is the Dan Marino short. I'm not sure. It's another passing animation for Dan Marino. So, any Dan Marino fans watching this is one more tease for you from Dan Marino. So he's going to have more than just what I showed the first time. So, and as far as all these quarterback animations, there's a lot of these coming, guys. He's doing about, I believe, 3 a week. He wants to have as many as possible. I'm not sure how many are going to come in the first release, but from what I was told, it's going to be more than we think. I'm thinking at least 30, maybe 50. Think about that for a minute, guys. Even All Pro didn't have that many. Okay, so the next quarterback we're going to look at is Joe Gilliam. Now, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s when they was winning Super Bowls with Terry Bradshaw, but he was the backup quarterback, so I don't know too much about this guy. I was kind of surprised as he was a choice, but I guess he was one of Cal Anderson's favorite players, or that he had a unique throwing motion. I'm not sure, but let's look at his animation. The variety of animations Cal Anderson wants to put in this game are just blowing my mind. I mean, I've seen the list of quarterbacks that he wants. I've seen some of them, not a whole list, and they're always getting finalized and getting added to and everything. But this is Joe Gilliam's quarterback throwing animation for, I'm not sure what the name of this football title is. Ryan Moody keeps calling it Dynamic Football. I'm not sure if that's the title name or if that's just the name of the website or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm just going to call it Cal Anderson Football, but nice variety in these animations. I mean, nobody wants to see the same quarterback throwing animation in football games. That's what made All Pro so popular, was because it had so many unique animations for each player. And this will be the same case for Cal Anderson's football game. Okay, now we're going to look at Johnny Unitas. Johnny U, one of the most famous quarterbacks of all time and one of the most celebrated. And of course you knew he was going to make the cut. And I really like how every quarterback feels different, looks different here. There's nothing that looks the same. Every drop back looks different. Every throwing motion looks different. I mean, the stepping up kind of looks different each time too. I'm trying to pinch myself here, guys. Is this stuff really happening? Sometimes I have to wonder. Something, is this really happening? I mean, after so much being deprived for so long, and now we're getting an influx of all these games coming out, and all these indie developers finally, taking the plunge and saying, you know what, I'm gonna make a football game. It's been too long. It's glad to see, and maybe Madden's finally gonna get their crap together, but I doubt it. But this is good. This is great. More football, the better. I don't care. The more football companies that start making football games, I'm just going to be smiling with glee. Johnny Unitas, ladies and gentlemen. Cal Anderson football. Okay, I'm going to end this video with Slingin' Sammy Baugh. Slingin' Sammy Baugh. Washington Redskins. If you don't know who he is, then, well, he was one of the first great quarterbacks that ever played this game. Way back in the day. But he had such a great throwing accuracy. He could throw from any position. He could throw from any angle. And he had this over-the-head kind of motion. But he was one of the greats, guys. And if you don't know who he is, I suggest you look him up. Look up some old videos and stuff, because it's a joy to watch. He was the first superstar quarterback. Before the league actually had superstars. But he was the first great one way back in the day. Washington Redskins, guys, look him up. And I'm going to show you one more. This is kind of a side arm old school throw. It looks kind of strange the way he's holding it, but this is the side arm throw here. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I got more coming, so stay tuned.